Cause I mean, is it a functional game? Yes. Am I bored to fucking death? Yes. Dude, it's just a dude with a hook and a parachute.
That's
What do
pretty
you do?
much every Just Cause that, and for some reason it goes over well. I think not because of the story, but because of the items you get over the course of the game. You kind of just,
The guns are fine. I don't care about anyone in this.
yeah. Basically, the best way to like describe it is Antonio Banderas as Batman and Spider Man.
More like Antonio Banderas being Batman while trying to be Spider-Man.
Fair enough. Wait, are you live now?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm gonna
Just
just.
just a little opening banter.
Cool, cool. Welcome to the Dope Dive Live. We are the dopes, and we're gonna dope around on Supernatural.
Saying doped way too much. But anyway, episode 7.
Ooh, Supernatural.
Yes. Sam and Dean get into adventures about
So, yeah,
supernatural stuff.
yes.
Well,
So,
that's our stream. Thanks for watching. Okay, kidding.
so basically, Supernatural is a story about two guys who hunt monsters. Sam Winchester and Dean Winchester. Sam being the younger brother, and Dean being obviously the older brother. Um, the story basically starts out with a house fire, a demon kills Sam and Dean's mom, Mary,
Oh, that part.
by
Yeah,
smashing her into the ceiling and then lighting her ablaze.
excessive. But I'll go on
Yes.
because he really has, like the guy really has to make sure. No, this is a monster that did this, not a random attack.
Nope. It's a
No,
man
like
with yellow eyes. And for the first season, that's pretty much the big bad. And the second season. But, you know. Anyway, house fire. Mom dies. Father's like, Dean, take your little brother out. Dean is 4 years old. Sam is an infant. And they watch as their house explodes, basically.
mhm.
I literally just watched the first episode, like maybe a couple hours before this. And after finishing the whole series and going back to the first episode, holy crap, they look like babies. Anyway, so Supernatural ran for about 15 seasons, with the season finale airing about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Um, and I have thoughts about how everything went down.
well,
So, a
well,
brief.
was
What's up?
well, actually, real quick question. Just because I am, of course, just getting into this again. Was it good or was it shit?
Um, the series as a whole or the ending?
Both.
The series as a whole, I personally enjoyed it. There are some good moments and some meh moments. And yeah, if you're into stuff like that, you'll like it. There are some references to, I mean, well, there are guest stars from a lot of different shows that you would probably know if you watched TV in the 90s. And like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like so many people who just popped in from that universe. And I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Wait, wait, who came in from Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Well, not characters, but the actors themselves. Um, we had James Marsters, or um,
Wait, Spike?
yes, Spike. You want me to just call them their Buffy names? Fine. Spike, Cordelia, Tara. Um,
Ah, Tara. They did her so dirty.
yeah, and she was a vampire and Supernatural, so that was kind of weird.
What?
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's fine. Yep.
Um, Harmony, that one side character who eventually became a vampire in Buffy.
Harmony.
She
It,
was the
it,
blonde woman, and she showed up more in Angel than in Buffy.
right. Her. Yeah.
Um, so
She's
yeah,
a bitch.
it was chock full of characters who, well, actors who came from Buffy and various other shows. um, so I guess I'll get into a semi brief synopsis of the show. Or yeah,
Yeah, and
so
for the record, yeah, actually, and just for like some context, I stopped watching around, I guess, kind of after the Leviathan thing, because I recall that Bobby was dead because he
mhm.
got killed by Dick Roman.
That's his name. Yeah, terrible
Cause,
name. That's a porn star name. But anyway,
it's like one of his own guys even said that, like, it's like he came back and his first idea was to come back as a guy named Dick Roman.
I mean, why
Why
not?
would you? Yeah, and that's where around the time where I was like, they should have stopped with Lucifer. But that was my opinion.
Ooh, you know, it gets worse.
Oh God,
Better
right.
depending on your view of things, I guess. So that was around season 7, and there are 15 seasons, and some of them went by in a really big blur. So I'll give a brief synopsis by season. Season 1, after a while of being apart, Sam and Dean reunite because their father went missing. Their
Right.
father being a hunter, and a hunter is the kind of person who hunts various supernatural creatures like werewolves and jinns and um, wendigos,
Oh,
vampires,
and Rougarous.
rougarous, which
Stupid fucking
apparently
name for anything.
rougarous are actually a thing. Not
That
like,
doesn't make their names any better.
I mean, so what? There are a lot of things that have goofy names that could tear us apart if they existed. But yeah. So John Winchester, the father, and Dean were both hunters while Sam was away at, I think, UCLA or something. I don't know. He was at a college and he was going to be a lawyer. He was either pre law or was in law school. I don't remember. It's 15 years ago. And yeah, so Dean just pops up out of nowhere and is like, "Hey, Sam, Dad went missing, so let's go on a hunt." And he's like, "Nah." He's like, "Come on, just this one time." He's like, "Okay." So he leaves. Sam leaves with Dean to investigate some kind of ghosty thing, and they solve it. And Dean drops
Remember this.
Sam back. Huh?
Oh no, because you're about to say it anyway.
Dean drops Sam back at his dorm, and they find that Sam's girlfriend, Jessica, I believe her name was, shared the same fate as Mary Winchester, slammed into the ceiling and lit ablaze
Same yellow-eyed demon.
by the same yellow eyed demon. Thus starts an actual adventure that spans 15 years. A whole bunch of stuff happens. They find their father. They find actual demons that they didn't know existed until, you know, someone got possessed. And it leads to the introduction of a recurring character named Meg, who was a demon who possessed a young girl's body and made Sam and Dean's lives hell for the first few seasons. She also worked for Yellow Eyes,
Right,
who is named Azazel, because I'm not going to remember saying that later. And
right. Because I kept thinking Alistair, but that's somebody else.
that's another demon, but he is not on the same level as Azazel.
Yeah. Although I guess for me, my issue with Supernatural is that like more times than not, it all boils down to it's a smoke monster in somebody's body.
Yeah. The thing about Supernatural is that there wasn't like a super duper high level of budget for the CG in it. So the best you're going to get is smoke or some other kind of very weak effect. But it does the job. Like,
Okay.
um, they managed to find Yellow Eyes and a certain gun called the Colt. I think the Colt. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's the cult.
Yeah. And it is a gun that can kill almost anything.
The keyword being almost.
Yes, the key word being almost. It's a very powerful gun and it can kill demons. It can kill other monsters if you shoot them in the head.
Wait. Could it kill Angel? I don't know if they tried it.
Um, I'm gonna say no because I believe I believe Dean tried to shoot
That yeah, it was Lucifer, but it was.
Lucifer.
But at the same time, it's like, dude, it's Lucifer.
Yeah, he's
Of
an
course,
archangel, so it's kind of fuzzy. But
like like you said, like I think you said, it's like one of like five things that gun can kill. I
yes,
like he said something weird.
it's not that important, but you know,
I don't
because
know. Like
eventually they come up with different ways to kill angels and archangels because there are certain weapons that can kill archangels.
yeah, but it's like we have this gun that can kill almost anything, and one of the things that it just happens to not be able to kill happens to be the absolute and unjustified ruler of all demons everywhere. And we need who we would actually actively want dead. This is the one. This is like one of those first times where it's like this isn't like this. It just didn't work
Yep.
because because plot armor, I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, they managed to find their dad twice because he kind of like dips out on them after they find him the first time, and they all get the living crap kicked out of them. And then Yellow Eyes manages to possess John Winchester, which um, causes Sam, I believe, to shoot him in the leg, which would, it would injure the demon, but it won't kill him.
Right.
So it made him somewhat exorcise Yellow Eyes from the father. And at the end of season one, they managed to escape battered and bloodied. Dean having gotten the crap kicked out of him by another demon who I don't remember, and he's not really that important. And they get into a bad car wreck with a truck, a semi truck. which leads into season two. Dean's in the hospital, but he's technically supposed to die there. Like, this is the first time where you find out that death really doesn't have much meaning in this universe for Sam and Dean.
Right.
So Dean is essentially in between life and death, and their father, who has been a really crappy parent to them their whole lives after the mother died, because it's a whole vengeance thing. He makes a deal with Yellow Eyes himself to take his own life in order to spare Dean.
Okay.
So John Winchester dies. We meet our first Reaper in the midst of this episode. I forgot her name, but
Oh
she
yeah.
a few times.
I can't remember, but I think there was an episode where she makes Dean the Reaper for a while,
Yeah,
and
she shows up
and
a few times, like 4 or 5 times throughout the series.
he's so bad at it. He's that. Yeah, actually, I remember that part. There was this dude, and he's like, what does it all mean?" And Dean's like, "All we are is dust in the wind." He's like, "What the
Bro,
fuck does that even? What?"
it's a song.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody knows that, but this guy's like, I'm just dying. You tell me this, and
I mean, he's
it was
he's a
hilarious.
regular dude, and he doesn't really have much going for him as far as I don't want to sound like a jerk, but he's not really as intelligent as his brother. So all he really has is brawn when it comes to hunting, and other than that, he's pretty much nobody.
He's got brawn and bad language.
Yeah, and he
Like,
makes pie
yeah, like gank. What does that mean?
to kill
So why not say kill? Like why gank? Why make things up?
because he's a vagabond. I don't know, bro. Like throughout the series, there's always been this theme of Sam not really wanting to be a hunter, while Dean is all about hunting because that's all he knows. Sam actually went to college and was going to be a lawyer, and he had friends, and Dean was pretty much a lone wolf and had nobody but his father and his brother. And since his father died at literally the beginning of the second season, he only had Sam. I mean, he slept around with a bunch of women, but like that was it. So when it comes down to it, Dean is kind of dumb muscle, but his
Right.
heart is in the right place when it comes to certain things. But anyway, in season two, they find out that Sam starts to develop psychic powers. Mostly it's premonitions, I believe. It's been a while. He has psychic powers, and they find out that there are a bunch of other people with psychic powers, and they meet all of these other people who were given psychic powers, and all of their mothers died in similar circumstances. A man showed up in their house, and the mother died, and yeah. So it turns out Yellow Eyes has been going around to mothers in 1980 or whatever, and dripping a little bit of his blood into the babies' mouths and killing their moms when they find him. Um,
Why?
I'll tell you why. He's basically trying to find a special child who will house the Lucifer, like the perfect soul, the perfect meat suit, I guess, for
Uh,
Lucifer.
okay.
And throughout this season, these children have, well, not children, these people have been placed in um in an area in order to fight it out to the death and find out who is the best. Eventually, Yellow Eyes gets the revolver, the Colt, and Sam gets killed by one of the other special children. I'm calling them special children because I don't know what else to call
Mutants.
them. I guess the demon blood babies.
Yeah.
So Sam dies,
Like dies.
dies. Dean and Uncle Bobby find him. Oh, by the way, Uncle Bobby is introduced in this season, and
Okay.
a lot of the other hunters like Ellen and Joe, and that one dude with the mullet who I really liked because he was like a super genius with technology. Like he managed to create a system to track demons with his laptop. I'm like, okay. I forgot his name, but yeah. Anyway, he dies. Pretty much a lot of people die. But Sam's dead. Dean flips out and looks for a crossroads demon. A demon similar to that of they're the demons who make deals with people in exchange for their souls.
Wait, hold on. What happened to the kid that killed Sam?
Yellow Eyes appeared to him and said, "Well, you're it. So let's go. You're gonna be my apprentice or whatever, and then you're the strongest kid in the world, and I guess Satan's gonna be inside you." He's like, "I don't know if I'm cool with that." He's like, "You have no choice," and the guy's like, "Okay,
Okay. Yeah, sure, whatever. Great, sure.
yeah." The details aren't that important, but
I don't know. I think it's a pretty important detail. Like, yeah, you're
he dies. That's all you need to know. He dies, but
wait, like he dies, but his body's still around, or so Sam kills him back.
yeah. After Dean goes to a crossroads demon and makes a deal in exchange for his soul within 1 year's time, they have
Oh
to
yeah, I
bring
know about that.
Sam back. And Sam comes back, and Bobby was like, "Holy crap, how did you survive that?" Not knowing that Sam was literally dead. Like, he wasn't supposed to come back from it. So, Dean basically hid this from Sam for a little while, and that's a cause of tension later on. Whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so as it goes, um, the the yellow-eyed demon Azazel was also trying to open up a gate to hell using the Colt because somehow the Colt was used as a way to lock the door to hell, but
Really?
also as a key to open the door to hell for some reason. I didn't really
So
understand why something so powerful was just getting passed around to every hunter and their mother.
because it's a MacGuffin.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, that's basically what it was. So he opened it partially, so a bunch of demons got to flee from hell, as well as spirits that went to hell. Guess who pops up from hell? John Winchester, here to save the day. So while Yellow Eyes is kicking the crap out of Dean,
Wait, why was he in hell?
he he sold his soul to Yellow
Oh
Eyes
yeah.
for
Sorry,
Dean's life.
my bad.
Yeah, so he comes out of hell and he I think he puts Yellow Eyes in a full Nelson. I'm like, oh snap. It's about to get crazy. Nope, Dean just shoots him in the head. That's it. It's over. And the father nods at him with zero voice lines in the episode. Nods to Dean, and I think nods to Sam. And He ascends to heaven. I don't know why he went to heaven. He's kind of a crappy dad, but whatever. I guess he did things for the betterment of humanity by killing all of those monsters.
Okay, but him being in heaven makes less sense considering what's going to happen later. Because like, wouldn't he like be able to help them with like the angels and stuff?
Hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
I'll just put a blanket statement out here now that if you're already in heaven, you're not gonna descend from heaven to help people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't someone from Earth go to heaven and then go back?
Uh,
You know what? I'll wait.
yeah. Yeah. I'll just explain how these things go. So that's the end of season 2. Yellow Eyes is dead. The gate to hell is closed somewhat, even though there are demons all over the place, and they still manage to come up from hell. But whatever, it's cool. It's cool. Season 3, the race to get Dean out of this contract.
Okay.
So Dean has a year left to live, and eventually Sam finds out. We're also introduced to Bella Talbot, I think her name is. I don't remember, but she's played by Maggie from The Walking Dead.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And this is I'm pretty sure this is pre Walking Dead. Yeah, season 3 was like in 2008 or something. Yeah. So she's a thief and she likes to steal things from people because reasons. I don't know why. I don't remember her motivation, but she also has one of those contracts where she'll get her soul dragged to hell if her time is up.
Okay.
Um, it turns out it turns out that the person who has their contracts is a demon named Lilith. And if you,
Mother of all demons.
huh?
Mother of all. Yeah. Mother of all demons. I think.
Yeah, she's the first demon, so to speak.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, not that important in the long run. Um, so throughout one episode involves, I think, I don't remember if it was in season 2 or season 3, but basically they're wanted by the FBI,
Okay.
and and they have to evade the FBI. It happens like 4 or 5 times throughout the series, and I'm like, for real, y'all need to stop with this. Anyway,
Well, that makes sense considering they go places, people die, and they're running around with fake identities.
right, and there's this one FBI agent who is definitely after them because they do technically commit a lot of crimes while they're hunting, grave robbing, and all of that. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there for it's to set up something later. Um, so while Lilith holds this contract, Bella's also in the way, screwing things up. And in season 3, I think it's season 3, but it involves probably my favorite episode through of the series, and I think it's called Mystery Spot. In this episode, um, it's basically a Groundhog Day loop, which starts out with Sam and Dean waking up in a motel, like always,
Well, yeah, I remember that episode.
and Dean dies in so many different ways.
Like, sees a dog. He's like, "Oh, hey, little guy, I need a friend." He gets like mauled off screen,
Yep.
and then and there was a song every time. Like,
I don't even.
something by Asia. Like,
Yes, yes. I'm not gonna bother looking for it, but it's you know what I'm talking about. So basically, it's a lesson by the trickster. The trickster supposedly being Loki, Norse god of mischief.
right.
Um, and yeah, so it's to teach Sam a lesson that he may eventually lose his brother. What is he going to do after that? And it's a recurring theme throughout the series that they might lose each other, and what are you going to do? So he eventually gets the trickster to stop resetting the day. So they make it to the next day,
And then Dean dies again.
and then Dean dies again, but in a very not funny way. Like it's kind of tragic. He gets shot by some jerk who was trying to rob him, and Sam pretty much goes about a year trying to find the trickster and kill him. And he
Okay.
basically turns into a robot, doing doing everything with zero emotion. And eventually, he finds the trickster, gets him to reset everything, and there's a little message: "Hey, your brother's gonna die. You have to learn how to deal with that." But like I said earlier, death really doesn't mean a lot for Sam and Dean.
Right.
Um, Sam gets the day set back to that original Tuesday. And I know it's a Tuesday because I watched that episode like 3 times. Anyway, they they leave. It eventually gets to the point where, oh, I forgot to mention, they meet another demon, a friendly demon named Ruby.
Ha! Sorry, I was like, we said friendly, and I was like, oh wait, I remember Ruby.
Yeah, right now she's friendly, but she's a demon, so she gives them um the demon killing knife or whatever it's called. I don't care what it's called. It kills demons. That's all I need to know.
Okay.
It has essentially the same functionality as the Colt, but it's a knife.
Right.
So there's your explanation. Um, so it turns out that um, Bella. I said before that Bella has a contract. That Lilith also holds a contract, and we find out that the way the person dies, if they have a contract with a demon, is that hellhounds are sent, and the hellhounds rip them to shreds.
Right.
So Bella has been a pretty minor or major antagonist, depending on how you see her, but she's been in the way of them trying to reach their goals throughout the season, and eventually her contract time runs out because they think finding Lilith would meant they would be able to get their contracts and like cancel them somehow. I don't know how, but whatever. Bella dies. Then she goes on to The Walking Dead.
Right.
Um, Towards the end, Lilith appears in the body of a very little girl who pretty much can kill anybody with the snap of her fingers or a look. And it's freaking this family out. It's freaking the little girl's family out. But it turns out that she's also got other demons possessing the neighborhood. And the closer it gets to Dean's death day, the more in tune with demons he is. So basically, he can see if a person is possessed by a demon, which was a really cool thing. And it sucks that, it only lasted for like an episode or two. I think one episode, like that last episode. But yeah, like on the day of, he's able to see demons everywhere. So he gets pulled over by a cop. It's actually a demon. He gets out of the car, he beats the crap out of the demon and kills him. Sam's like, dude, what the crap? You killed a cop. He's like, nah, that's a demon. How do you know? I can see them. They're ugly. Anyway, all this to say, they managed to find Lilith, but it's too late. Um,
Oh wait, I think I remember Lilith has like some weird death ray thing, but it didn't work on Sam.
that's next season.
Okay,
But Ruby has been trying to get Sam to drink demon's blood in order to beat Lilith, and he has refused.
right.
Um, they get there and they try to kill Lilith, and Lilith pretty much overpowers them with one hand. Like, she doesn't even touch them. She slams them against the wall with telekinesis or whatever, and she makes him watch as Dean gets torn apart by hellhounds. So Dean dies, Lilith leaves. I think Sam does something with his powers and she leaves. And Dean's dead. He's in hell. The last shot of season 3 is of Dean chained up in hell screaming for Sam, I believe.
Yeah.
Um that's the end of season 3. Season 4, roughly 4 or 5 months later, um Dean Dean manages to dig out of his grave, which is kind of weird, and he finds out that like there's a bunch of metal and wreckage around him, like like something really messed up was going on, and he starts hearing this weird high pitched ringing that pretty much makes everything around him explode. It turns out that it's an angel trying to communicate with him in his native tongue. And this angel is Castiel.
Wait, how many times did Cassel try to contact Dean with the ringing?
2 times, I believe.
Wouldn't the first time be like enough to say, "Oh yeah, it's like he won't get it if I talk like this"?
I I don't know. They eventually go to a psychic woman, an actual psychic woman that Bobby knows,
Oh, I think I
who's
remember
like
those.
who's like really.
Flirtatious.
I want to say it goes up like a few steps beyond flirtation. She's openly propositioning Sam and maybe Dean.
I think she grabs one of their asses.
Yep. So basically, they get her to try and find out what this thing is. They think it's a demon, but it eventually says that its name is Castiel. And she's like, okay, show yourself. And he's like, and basically, while he's communicating with her, basically telling her that's not a good idea. And she's like, well, you're going to have to do it. I don't, that's not going to work for us. And he's basically warning her because if she saw his true form, it it could have really bad effects on her. And
It burns her eyes out.
basically, he destroys her retina. He destroys her eyeballs.
Yeah,
Like not maliciously. It's just a thing that happens if you see
it's
the
like
true form.
it's like woman, I warned you. I really warned you.
So he eventually manages to get I don't want to say possess because it was more like a willing give yourself onto the angel and the angel will take your body as its human form.
Right,
So yeah, so he managed to possess, for lack of a better term at the moment, a human who and he found Dean because they can like pop in and out. And remember when I said that there wasn't a high special effect budget? So basically they use camera angles and stuff to like they'll cut to a shot of one of somebody and then they'll cut back and the angel will appear there. I was like, "Oh, interesting. Good." And I like that because even though they didn't have like like a crazy CG budget, it was more like they tried to do it with um general camera editing. So good on them for that. Anyway, Castiel's like, okay, so we pulled you out of hell because we need you. And Dean's like, yeah, that's not going to cut it for me. And he's like, well, here's how it is. Your brother's going to be a vessel for Satan. Vessel, that is the best word. Yeah, anyway. So,
host works too. But
huh?
oh, host works too.
Host, possession, whatever. Vessel. Anyway, Sam's going to host um Lucifer and Dean is supposed and they want to stop the apocalypse because
Right,
yeah, so there are all of these signs for the apocalypse, like all of these things. There's like basically a checklist of things that will happen before um Satan comes out of hell. Seals, though, that's the thing. A bunch of seals that are broken. So remember that FBI agent who's been looking for Sam and Dean?
yeah,
He manages to they manage to get arrested and he meets them in the jail and basically they have to explain to him that this is all of, this is all the work of demons and stuff. He's like, come on, dude, demons don't exist. They eventually exorcise the demon in front of him after blessing a toilet and turning the water into toilet holy water.
gross.
Yeah, whatever. I'd rather have my face shoved in the toilet than have a demon possess me.
I'm either or.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, so they
Wait. Whose toilet would I be would I be shoved into? Because prison toilets that's one thing, but
I like how this is a conversation. Okay, so here's how it's going to go. If it's going to have to be shoved in the toilet, it's going to be a clean toilet, at least clean for what it is. So
wait. Actually, question: what if it's Daisy Ridley's toilet? So that never mind.
don't make it weird, bro.
You brought up toilet demons.
I mean, they shoved his face into a toilet. It's holy water.
Fine, holy toilets.
Exactly.
Whatever. You're going.
Anyway, so in this one episode that I really like because I remember it, um, Sam and Dean are arrested. The FBI agent shows up, and they convince him and all the police officers and one of the clerks in there that
Yeah,
Um,
demons are real.
that demons are real, and that demons are on their way to kill everyone there. And one of the seals, I believe, is like a virgin sacrifice. I think I don't remember, but like they successfully repel all of the demons, and Sam and Dean leave. Lilith shows up and slaughters everyone in the police station,
Yeah.
thus breaking one of the seals, I believe.
Oh yeah,
And
because
there's
one of them. Oh
hmm?
yeah, because there was that one girl, and it turns out, yeah, the clerk girl is a virgin. And while they were being attacked, she was like, "If I got this, I'm gonna have so much sex." And then this cop looks at her like, and she was like, "Oh, not you." And it's like, well,
Yeah,
huh?
but yeah. So I'm going to abridge this season as best I can. Season 4, basically, we find out that Sam and Ruby have been hooking up, and while Ruby was in the body of Katie Cassidy in season 3, she's now in the body of Genevieve Padalecki. Well, that's her name now because she met
Yeah, yeah,
Jared
they got married.
Padalecki there, and they got married soon after. But yeah, so yeah, and it turns out he's been consuming Ruby's blood in order to enhance his psychic powers. And when Dean finds out, he flips out on Sam, and they get into a huge fight.
We hunt teams. We don't bang them.
Right, and I think for the first time, Sam beats the living crap out of Dean, like beats him down, drop, and Dean is on the floor, and yeah, um, I think in this season, or it might be the next season, Bobby is stabbed in the back by Meg, and he eventually he becomes a paraplegic. Um, what else? What else? What else?
Wait, wait, Meg was still alive by then, or was this before?
Meg was still alive. She keeps escaping bodies. Well, she escaped the first Meg vessel to possess another woman, and that becomes the face of Meg for the rest of the series until her death.
Okay.
Um, Meg was against Satan, Lucifer being raised from hell because she doesn't really want to be ruled by anyone. Um, oh yeah, you mentioned no, I don't think it's this season. It's the next season, or maybe it is. I don't know. Alistair is one of the demons who Dean met in hell. Well, met.
Right.
It was his um, boss, so to speak, like his teacher, his
His mentor.
basically, yeah, his mentor, so to speak. Basically, when you're in hell, you get tortured, and until well, they torture you, and then Alistair comes along and says, "Hey, you know, you don't have to be tortured. You can do the torturing." And if the person says no, they get tortured some more. Um, if the person says yes, they're off the rack. They get to start torturing.
Yeah, and eventually Dean said yes.
Yes, my memory of seasons 4 and 5 are a little fuzzy. I remember the end games and I remember stuff that happens, but I'm not sure of if Alistair shows up then or shows up during season 4 or 5. So what I'm gonna say is that he shows up and Dean reveals that he was in hell and eventually said yes to torturing, and they keep on rubbing it in Dean's face that his father was in hell longer and managed to stave off of torturing people and kept getting tortured, and that Dean is weak and he just said yes to stop the pain. Also, to note that if you keep torturing people or torturing souls in hell for long enough, you eventually become a demon. So Dean was technically on his way to becoming a demon. Anyway, all this to say, um, Sam and Dean fight. He and Sam goes to find Lilith in order to kill her, and Dean tries to cut him off at the pass, but is too late. Sam manages to use all of his remaining psychic powers on killing Lilith. So, like, basically, he used all of his MP and can never do magic again.
How weirdly convenient.
Yeah, like he kills Lilith, and Ruby's there, and she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I work for Lilith, stupid." And I'm like, like really?
It's like, surprise, bitch, you did everything that we wanted and more.
She's like, I totally manipulated you, and I didn't think it was gonna happen, but it totally did. And I'm like so happy right now.
Dude,
So
I remember that she was like hyping herself, like, dude, I was the most devout, the most loyal. Check me out. I'm awesome.
right, and then Sam tried to kill her, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, you spent all your energy trying to kill Lilith, and now you don't have magic anymore."
Talk about
And
blowing your
then Dean
load.
just busts in and stabs her in the back and kills her, and I was like, "Wow, okay,
Oh, I remember that scene. It was like Dean busts in, and she's like, "You're too late." He's talking to her like, "I don't care."
yep,
Sam grabs her, and then he stabs her, and that is the end of Ruby.
yep." But it doesn't matter. Well, it's the end of Ruby for the next few seasons. She comes back, I think. I don't remember. It's some
Really?
nonsense. Yeah, it's some nonsense. Like the last few seasons are really weird, and I didn't pay that much attention to them. So I'll probably be skipping those, except for Scooby Natural. But I'll get to that when I get to it. Um,
Great. Super excited for
so
that.
Lilith is the last seal because all of the other seals had been broken because Sam and Dean are Sam and Dean. Um,
I don't know, like, I don't really like get too much on the whole magic side of things. Like, how weirdly specific. Like, oh, Lilith is the last seal. She was essentially born to die for this somehow.
yep. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but whatever. So
She
her blood creates
she's
a
cool with it.
portal,
Yeah.
and while this portal is opening, which would probably kill whoever was in the room, Sam and Dean get teleported onto a random plane over Baltimore, I think, and it was apparently the work of God.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, season 5. It's cuckoo bananas now. People are fighting. It's essentially the apocalypse starting, and people are all over the place. I don't know. It was a really weird season, but essentially, it's the whole plot is prevent Sam from from accepting Lucifer's proposal to inhabit his body, while the angels try to get Dean to say yes to Michael, the archangel, inhabiting his body. Because if there's anything that Supernatural likes to do, it's parallels. So,
Right, right. This is that um, Sam and Dean are the sons of Cain and Abel, or something like that.
something like that. I don't remember. It's
And it's like it's brothers. Don't you get it?
yeah. It's more like the parallels between. Apparently, their line is born to do this. So, since basically on the father side, their line is meant to um be vessels for Michael. So literally anybody except for Sam on on John Wis- on John Winchester's side of the family can say yes to Michael and have him inhabit their body. So um so they spend the whole season trying to get this to happen, and they're like, nah. So I think in this season, let me look it up real quick. I think a fallen angel appeared in this season, and
It was that
she,
Uriel or something else.
no, Uriel was just a regular angel. He was like a legit soldier. But let's see. Um, how do I explain? A fallen angel is basically an angel that defects from heaven and inhabits a human body, and one of them was a girl named Anna. Okay, so that all happened in season 4. I was right. So yeah, it's really confusing. But yeah, she and Dean slept together and they're close because apparently that's how it is. And in season 5, I think she dies.
Yeah, I think I remember that because she was cool at first, slept with Dean, then left. She came back, but was like, I don't know, a bitch. So then they had to kill her. I think.
Yes, she
Wait, how did she
eventually
die?
she went insane, basically.
Yeah, but like
Let's see. Okay, they go back in time. Dean goes back in time, and in this episode is the is actually what I kind of remember. Uriel goes a younger Uriel um tries to inhabit a young John Winchester's body, or he has Michael do it or something. I don't remember. But excuse me. Anna went back in time because she was like reprogrammed or whatever, and they tried to get her to kill Mary Winchester while she was pregnant with Sam. So basically, to eliminate Sam from the timeline and prevent him from starting a full blown apocalypse,
Terminator. Got it.
basically. Anyway, she gets killed, whatever. Um, in this season, a lot of stuff happens. Dean gets flung forward in time, backward in time, and he meets his parents as younger people, and he I mean, he also in the last season too. He also met his mother as a young person and found out that her family was all a group of hunters. So it's kind of in their blood to be hunters too. And he found out how this whole thing with Yellow Eyes went down. He basically attempted to he killed John and said Yellow Eyes said, "Hey, when you have a kid in when at whatever time, I'm going to come in and see how you doing." Or something like that. Basically like you owe me a favor if I bring him back to life. But Yellow Eyes killed her father, her mother, and pretty much all of her family. So Mary was alone. Anyway, that's that. Not that important, but it gives some insight into their backstory. Um, so throughout the season, they're steady trying to get Dean to be Michael's vessel to the point where they try to coerce them by killing them. Like no joke, one angel named Zachariah has hunters break into their place and shoot them in their beds while they go to heaven, and Zachariah basically terrorizes them. But remember that one nerd with the mullet from season two? Bro was
Yeah.
in heaven hacking heaven. He
Oh,
was like,
fuck off.
nah, son.
What?
Yeah, that's basically what he was doing. He was like,
How do you hack that? Whatever. Sure. Great. Sure.
and he was taking them to a bunch of people's personal heavens, and they met all of people, well, a few of the people who had died so far, which is one of the few times that they'll probably that might happen. I don't remember, but yeah, they go to heaven, they come back to life again, cementing the idea that death really doesn't hold much water in this universe. For Sam and Dean, for everybody else, if you're dead, you're probably gonna stay dead. Anyway, they also find out that they have a younger half brother whose name escapes me because he wasn't really that important. But also, he was dead, so it doesn't matter. And it turns out that their father actually frequently went to visit this child and did all of the fatherly things he should have been doing with Sam and Dean, which further makes me wonder why this guy was allowed into heaven. Anyway, Dean goes to the future, finds um pretty much everybody he's ever met 5 years older or so in a resistance against the apocalypse because Sam said yes to Lucifer and is now Lucifer's body. And Dean is leading the resistance. Well, future Dean is leading the resistance, and Dean meets himself and is basically like, you should probably kill your brother or something. I don't remember. It was stupid, but it was a whole thing where it didn't mean anything. It just serves to show young Dean, well, our Dean, that Sam might fall to the dark side again.
Right.
Um, let's see. Castiel runs out of his magic. Yeah, and I realize I'm calling it magic, and it's not really magic, but it's magic, whatever. Um, Sam and Dean argue again. Also, Crowley is introduced in either this season or the season before as the king of the Crossroads Demons. So he's the guy who helps create all of these contracts and pushes demons out to make deals and all of that, whatever. After Lilith died, that was basically his thing. Um, and Crowley becomes uh, kind of antagonist throughout the series. Okay, so as we all know, Sam eventually runs off to say yes to Lucifer because they come up with a plan or whatever, but it doesn't work. And basically, Sam is Lucifer's vessel. It sucks,
Right.
but it happens. They manage to. Dean says an absolute no to the angels because he doesn't want to um, be a puppet, basically. And because the ensuing fight between Michael and Lucifer would kick off a genuine disaster event for the whole world and kill about 3/4 of the world's population.
Okay.
Castiel has lost all of his powers, and we find out that the trickster who's been terrorizing them once or twice per season is in fact Gabriel, another archangel,
Right.
and not Loki.
Wait, so does Loki show up at all in the series?
I don't remember. Probably not.
Cool.
Um, let's see. So at this point, Bobby's in a wheelchair. Castiel is just a normal person. He's an angel with no powers, essentially, or grace, as they call it in the show. And Gabriel eventually dies, I believe. So it's just Sam as the devil, Dean by himself, and Bobby in a wheelchair with Cassiel, who has no powers. But throughout this season, they've been meeting the four horsemen of the apocalypse and killing three of them: pestilence, war, and famine, to retrieve their rings, and getting the fourth one from Death himself.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me because everybody was gorging themselves, and you see Castiel run in just eating a burger.
Yes.
But then, yeah, but Death had like one of the best intros, like this like this dark ass song, and then a dude bumps into him, he calls him an asshole, and Death just brushes just swipes the driver's shoulder, and the dude just straight up dies in the middle of the street.
Yep. But
And
he's not exactly evil or a demon.
he's
He's
neutral.
he is as old as God, as they say.
It's like, don't worry, I'm gonna get God eventually. I get everyone.
That's exactly what he says. But anyway, I digress. He gives his ring to Dean willingly, and Dean puts all four rings together, which is supposed to create a hole into hell again, or a cage to trap Lucifer. So what happens is they revive John Winchester's third son from death. He says yes to Michael, and they both Michael and Lucifer in Sam's body meet at this one location where the apocalypse is really supposed to kick off, because they'll fight to the death, or fight in general. I don't know. Dean
Okay.
shows up and basically tries to reason with Sam, and Michael in the little half brother's body says, "Yo, this ain't your business no more. Back off. You had your chance." So, of course, Castiel and Bobby show up, and what happens? Okay, Castiel pops in and throws a Molotov of holy oil at Michael, which incapacitates him for a long time.
Wait, why
And
would holy oil work on Michael?
it's holy oil. You're asking me questions that I don't remember the answer to. It's essentially it doesn't kill angels, but it gets rid of them for a little while, so to speak.
But they're angels.
Yeah.
So, shouldn't it like supercharge them or something? You
Again,
know,
I have no clue. It's supernatural. Don't gotta explain it. Or they probably didn't. I just don't remember. But yeah, Lucifer gets mad, pops Castiel like a grape, and I think he kills Bobby, or maybe he doesn't. Yeah, he snaps Bobby's neck or something.
right?
And Dean gets the living crap kicked out of him by Lucifer in Sam's body. And, the Impala being the only thing that they have from their childhood is there to kind of counteract Satan being in Sam's body. I don't know how, but like memories of their childhood and being in that car apparently helped Sam get control of his body. And he managed to throw the rings on the ground, create the cage to hell, and fall in while Michael jumps in with him for some reason. So now Michael is in hell, Lucifer's in hell, and their little brother, Adam, that's his name, who is still being possessed by Michael, is also in hell. So Sam, Adam, Michael, and Lucifer all in hell. Castiel is revived and given all of his powers back. So he heals Dean, brings Bobby back to life, and Dean just gives up. Like he gives up on hunting and all of that, and he goes to live a normal life with a woman he slept with long before the series started.
Right.
Um, and it turns out at the end, this is the end of the season, by the way. So at the end of this season, we get a cliffhanger of Sam literally being outside of this place. And I'm like, what?
Like he's just there.
Yep. Like, as soon as he went to hell, he was brought directly out of hell, like, immediately. So, I guess that brings us to season 6. Holy crap. I only finished 5 seasons now. 10 more to go. Uh, anyway, season 6. I don't remember what happened in season 6. Oh, yeah, Sam is back. Their grandfather on their mother's side, Samuel Winchester, is also alive again. And turns out Crowley brought them back because Crowley is always going to bring them back. And he's going to betray them
Why?
one way or the other. Because he has his own machinations going on. Crowley always has a scheme in the works, and he's always planning to betray somebody. He's a demon, and he's pretty good at it. I'm not gonna lie. But since Lucifer's bat is in the cage again, Crowley has assumed the throne to hell, and is the self-proclaimed king of hell. And for the most part, everyone follows it. Like, I guess they have no choice but to follow it. Despite in later seasons there being a bunch of other demons who are on higher rungs than him, but whatever, you know. We just gonna roll with Crowley being the king of hell. So Crowley is doing his thing, and Samuel Winchester has Sam Winchester working with him to hunt while Dean lives a normal life. And then he eventually sees Sam and flips out because he thinks it's a monster. He doesn't know what's going on. Turns out it's Sam, and he tries to get him back hunting with them. But, Dean is like, nah, I'm living a regular life now. I can't get back into that lifestyle. I have a girlfriend, and I'm kind of being a father figure to her son. And Sam eventually does manage to recruit him slightly, somewhat, little by little. But Dean starts to notice that something's off with Sam, and it all culminates into Sam using Dean as bait for a vampire. And gets Dean gets turned, and he eventually goes back to his girlfriend's place, but he has the thirst for blood, and he's not cool. He's about to eat the kid, but he like pushes him out of the way to prevent him from like killing this child. Needless to say, this results in the end of his relationship with the woman, and Sam eventually gives him a cure for his vampirism.
because that exists.
It only exists to people who have just recently been turned and haven't given in to the thirst.
Okay.
So he turns back, but he tells Sam that he knows something's up with him, and essentially he doesn't trust him. He gets Castiel to find out what's going on with Sam because that ain't Sam. And excuse me, it turns out that Sam came back without his soul. So he has like no humanity about him. He is essentially a robot who does the task that he has to do and will manipulate you if he needs to get those things done.
Okay.
So they meanwhile Bobby makes a deal with Crowley to get to be able to walk again. Um
Oh yeah, Crowley's the one that like to seal deals. He kisses people,
yes, and he had to kiss Bobby. And
which he
he
kept,
made sure
and he
to
kept
take
photos of
pics
that.
of it.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, there's also this race against time to save Bobby from being taken in. And eventually they do. They manage to get Sam and Dean to go to Scotland, of all places, to dig up his grave and find his bones. Because if you burn a demon's bones, like if you burn a ghost's bones or remains, um, they're completely dead forever and they don't get to come back ever again.
Okay.
So he used that as leverage to force Crowley to change the deal to keep his spine intact, but without any of the negative effects. Crowley gets his bones back. Win-win. Um. Anyway, they want to give Sam his soul back, but unfortunately, the trauma of being in hell, even for a few minutes on Earth's time, because apparently the timeline in Earth and from Earth to hell and heaven are very different.
Bullshit, but go on.
Yes. because apparently Dean was in hell for like 40 years or 100 years. I don't remember.
Right, and he's fine.
And well, he's not going to age because his body's dead. It's just his soul there. But I get it.
Wait, Dean is never going to age because his body's
No, no,
dead.
no, no, no. Dean wouldn't age in hell because it's
Oh,
just his soul there.
right.
So the 40 years that he spent there are just what would make him, or however long he spent there. He was in there for 4 months on Earth's time, or like 100 and something years in hell time. I don't know. Anyway, he's okay. He's not okay mentally because he's always been kind of unstable, seeing as he's been through all of that trauma in his life. But I digress. Dean tries to get Sam's soul back. I don't remember if it's in this season or the next season, but it doesn't work for him because of all of the trauma. Um, I vaguely remember. Hmm. Anyway, the grandpa that was brought back by Crowley, he died. I believe Rufus also died. Rufus is Bobby's best friend, a black man who was also an antagonist in Jason Goes to Hell, which is like one of those things that I was mentioning, how they get all of these people who were in horror and different things in the 90s to be on their show. But yeah.
Okay.
hmm Um, let's see. He Sam loses his memory, I believe, or something because wait, right. Okay, in this season, the antagonist isn't just one person. The antagonist is Crowley. The antagonists are Crowley, Castiel, and I believe Raphael. There's a war going on in heaven because of all of the disarray after Michael and Lucifer going into the cage. So after after that, the um Castiel, I think. No, I have to look this up. I do not remember. Okay, Castiel has defeated Raphael, and while they, since they were at a kind of war, they were trying to collect souls, and all of these souls had started to supercharge Castiel. Castiel eventually goes mad with the power and says that he is the new god.
Okay.
Um, and basically he says, "Bow down to me, or I'll kill you." And that's essentially the end of season 6. And it's become a thing that every season just ends on a cliffhanger. Um, Essentially, it's more complicated from there.
It could be more complicated.
How could it get more complicated? Because hold on.
So wasn't that the episode where someone was like making new demons and Dean got to name them? To,
The Jefferson Starships.
yes.
Oh gosh. So I think her name was Eve,
Right, right, yeah.
and she's the mother of all demons. Yeah, that was all of season 6. Essentially, she was a primordial creature who came out of purgatory. And she's not just the mother of demons, she's the mother of every creature, so to speak. She, a lot of her children are the alphas of of other creatures. So, like the alpha vampire, the alpha werewolf, the alpha shape shifter, so and so on and so forth, were all her children.
Okay.
She's older than angels and a whole bunch of other crap, and I think her only weakness is a phoenix. No, the ashes of a phoenix. Yeah. So yeah, that was the thing.
Wait, where did they get the ashes of a phoenix?
They had to go back in time to the time of Samuel Colt. Stop me if you've heard his name before.
I think I saw that episode.
Yeah, he's the guy who made the Colt. Anyway, yeah. So they kill her. Blah. Cassiel goes on his power trip, and then we go straight into season 7, where Cassiel basically appoints himself as God and tries to correct all of the wrongs in the world, but he can't really control creatures that came out of purgatory. Um, Leviathans came out of purgatory as well, and I'm pretty sure this is the season where you eventually stopped watching
Yes.
because you mentioned that you remember Dick Roman and Bobby dying.
Yeah,
So
I remember Bobby being a vengeful ghost.
yes, so eventually they try to figure out how to kill Leviathans, and by extension, Dick Roman.
Dick Roman extension.
Dude, seriously?
You said extension! For a guy named Dick Roman, what do you expect me to. What?
um,
Anyway,
yeah. So Borax is one of their their weaknesses, and Borax
Borax.
is, huh?
Borax.
Yes. So, you know, boric acid or anything that you can find in like a cleaning solution. If you splash it on them, they'll die.
It can't be that simple.
It is.
So you mean to tell me that I could go to my supermarket right now, get some borax, and be able to kill scores and scores of these things just because
Yes.
it's so dumb. But
Oh,
yeah, sure, whatever.
a lot of them managed to escape purgatory. So, and this was when Castiel essentially did this. So it is his fault that they were there. Um, the whole season is kind of a weird thing where it eventually culminates in um Castiel Dean Castiel and Dean going to purgatory. But you know, Dick Roman actually shoots Bobby, and he doesn't die immediately, but he eventually does die. And I, if I recall correctly, his soul did go to hell after he became a vengeful ghost. And yeah, it was. If you liked Bobby, it was a sad thing to see him die,
Right.
despite him showing up in many episodes after his death, and even showing up in the finale. But yeah,
Because well, I think he was one of the producers.
he's not. He was named after one of the producers,
Oh, okay.
Robert Singer, which is interesting. But yeah. So they also look for prophets, so to speak, which I haven't really mentioned, but they've shown up from time to time. One of their prophets being um, Chuck, so to speak.
Right, him.
Chuck, yes. The man who wrote books that detail the lives of Sam and Dean and are actually extremely popular in that universe.
Yes.
Um, anyway, all of that doesn't matter. There's another prophet named Kevin Tran, and Crowley's looking for him, and they save him, and some other stuff happens. It doesn't matter. He eventually dies, I think, at some point, like
Wait, is he supposed to
everybody
like?
else in the series.
Wait, doesn't he have like a spell that can like banish every demon in the world?
He doesn't have a spell, but there was. He was reading one of the prophecy tablets or whatever they're called, and only prophets are able to translate the writings on them. So not even demons or angels can understand the writings. So they need the prophet to be able to do that. And Kevin, being one of them, was able to. And they discovered a spell through Kevin that could have done that. But I think that tablet got destroyed or stolen or something else. I don't remember. Um, the point is, Dean goes to purgatory with Castiel, and you find out that every creature that they kill basically goes to purgatory. It doesn't go to heaven. It doesn't go to hell. They go straight to purgatory. So vampires, um, shifters, every monster, purgatory. Purgatory is essentially a wasteland forest area where it's kill or be killed. And eventually, Dean meets a friendly vampire from Louisiana because I'm pretty sure his name was Remy or something. I don't remember, but all I remember is that he's basically from Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah. Um. And we're going into season 8, right?
I don't know. You tell me.
Dick Roman and the Leviathans were 7. Yeah. After they get to Purgatory, it's season 8.
Okay.
God.
All
I
right. So this
guess.
is the part.
Hmm?
No, because this is the part where I should know nothing,
Yeah,
probably.
and I haven't seen season 8 in a really long time, so I am reading and talking to you at the same time.
Cool.
Season 8. According to Wikipedia, in this season, Dean reunites with Sam after escaping from purgatory and team up with the prophet Kevin to complete a series of trials that'll allow them to close the gates of hell for good. So, you might have seen a little bit of season 8.
Maybe.
That is the spell that would banish every demon from Earth.
Actually, if I recall, the guy playing Kevin plays exactly the same role in Legends of Tomorrow. Like, oh, I'm just this dude that just happens to be able to be like important to this thing that you need because destiny said so. I guess.
Maybe. I don't really remember him being in Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh, he was in. Well, sorry, Crisis on Infinite Earths,
Okay,
the
yes.
crossover.
Yes, 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 yes.
Kevin, right, something Choi,
Yeah. He was a scientist or something.
and he was stabbing shadow monsters with a screwdriver because anybody can kill those guys. You know what? Never mind. I, I'm way off topic.
You good?
Continue.
You good?
I'm so pissed at that fucking crossover.
Um,
But that's another episode, a future episode. So stick around for that. Anyway,
so
wait,
yeah, season 8, Bobby's in hell.
right.
Um, they're trying to get certain tablets so they can figure out how to do certain things. Angels are getting the angel tablets, and demons are looking for the demon tablets. Demon tablet, I believe, is something that would help banish everything, all demons from Earth back into hell. Needless to say, I don't think this was very successful. They're trying to find out how to cure demons, but doesn't look like they have
Wait,
to go through a series of trials and
what do you mean cure? Like exercise them?
no cure demons from being demons, like basically turn them into human souls again.
Oh, that actually would be useful.
It would. Holy crap, my memory is so fuzzy from this. Like I don't really remember.
Okay, okay. So like, what are the important parts?
Let's see. I believe a lot of basically Metatron shows up. That's the voice of God, basically.
Right.
Um, I believe Gadriel is in this. Um, or maybe that's the next season. It's very fuzzy because there's so many characters and so much meh drama that pops up, and it eventually gets super boring. And around seasons 8, 9, 10 are when I definitely got mega bored.
Okay, but like, okay, so what like quickly happened in those seasons? Like anything relevant?
They, let's see, hold on.
Okay, that's like 3 seasons. Like something must have happened.
Yeah, stuff happens. It's just, okay. So I don't have to worry about Gadriel. So in season 8, Metatron shows up. We're trying to figure out where God is. Um, they don't know. Crap. Um, Metatron is a character who is in this show for like the next 4 seasons, and he's really annoying. And all I remember is that he eventually gives himself like almost unlimited power because he is the voice of God. And then we find out that God is Chuck.
Right.
Yes. Like,
Which which explains and yet confuses so much.
yeah, I'll get into that a little later. Um,
I'm sorry. It's like, how would you feel if a random dude that you met how long ago was actually God? Because it was like wouldn't you just go like on? Wouldn't you call me and be like, hey, could you like fix everything, please? I mean,
yeah,
or at least could you like prevent some of this, please? I mean, I'm not to like put you out there, but since you're God or anything, could you please just like give us a hand since you by your own lore can do anything?
yeah, it gets worse.
Oh god.
Um, Eventually, Sam starts degenerating from all of that messed up stuff that was locked away in his head from being in hell. So this guy says he's Gadriel and like pretty much takes he he says his name is Ezekiel or something. I don't remember. He's an angel who takes he uses Sam as a host and slowly heals Sam's brain or whatever. He's basically a liar and not really that important in the grand scheme of things. But let's see. Season 10 because yeah, I don't want to deal with all this crap. Um oh wait, no. Actually some interesting stuff does happen in season 9. Eventually they meet Kane, like the actual Kane,
And not
and
the wrestler. Got it.
not the wrestler, son of Adam and Eve Kane,
Yeah,
who killed
yeah, yeah.
his brother. And like he's Dean kills him and gains the mark of Cain. The mark of Cain essentially slowly turns Dean into a demon. Like for no other reason than him turning into a demon. Like and then
What?
yeah, it's really complicated and I didn't pay that much attention. And it was a while ago, so yeah. Let's see. In season 9, they meet Cain and Dean kills him, transferring the mark of Cain to him. Only one other character in the series actually had the mark of Cain, aside from Cain and Dean, and that was Lucifer. Um,
Why did Lucifer have it?
why does Lucifer have it? Hold on, I need water.
Okay.
So it's explained later for reasons. I'll get into it later. Let's say it like that. Dean kills Cain, gets the mark of Cain, and by extension, Cain's weapon, the first blade, which in the Bible is essentially the jaw of a donkey. which he used to kill Abel.
Right.
Yeah, it's an actual blade, but I guess, but I guess it was fashioned out of a donkey's jawbone or something. Anyway, Gadriel um, has been kind of sketchy as far as things go with Sam, and excuse me, Dean attacks him, and he's been trying. It's eventually revealed that Metatron, the voice of God, was intending to convert humanity into following him as a religion instead of following God. And Metatron managed to get his hands on one of those prophecy tablets, and he was funneling power from it, and it essentially made him into a god.
Okay. All I'm really getting from this is that God himself is not really a good leader because everybody just doesn't want to work for him or
Well,
it or
here's the
whatever the
thing:
hell they do.
they don't hear anything from him at all.
Well, it's just absenteeism.
We don't find out that he's Chuck until like I think a couple seasons from now. But in seasons in season 9, basically the voice of God hasn't heard anything from God to like translate or say. So nobody knows where God is. Nobody knows what's going on. They're just running around like chickens with their heads cut off. So that's why Metatron, his voice, is like, okay, well, God's not around, so I'll be God now.
That makes sense, I guess. I, I, I'm being sarcastic because honestly, it's like what are your qualifications? Who even are you?
Well, honestly, he really was the voice of God, so that would technically qualify him more than the average angel because he had a direct line to God.
Just because you're a hype man doesn't mean you can rap.
Yeah, that's true. Look at Flavor Flav. Anyway,
Oh,
um,
but he said so many women try to hook up with him. He's a very successful whatever he is, don't you know?
let's go with Troll. Anyway, um, Dean gets fatally wounded by what's his face, Metatron, who's invincible or whatever. Um, Gadriel sacrifices himself in heaven to save Castiel and get a bunch of angels to help Castiel to overthrow Metatron.
Okay.
And all of the angels turn on Metatron, and while this is going on, he they they try to crown Castiel as their new leader, and he's like, "Nah, I had a lot of power before. I'm not doing that again." Um, Dean dies
Again?
again.
Wait. Which season is this?
9.
So now he's died twice or three times.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't really kept count of how many times they've died, but yeah, roughly 3 times. Um, so Dean's dead, and Sam tries to get Crowley to make a deal to bring Dean back. Crowley instead um, manages to find Dean and tells him that the Mark of Cain has pretty much got a hold on you. and that upon death, the mark of Cain basically turns you into a demon. Dean is still dead, but as soon as Crowley puts the blade in Dean's hand, he comes back to life as a demon. So Dean's a demon now, and yeah. So at the beginning of season 10, I remember the first episode, and Dean and Crowley are basically like bros. That's the best way I can explain it. They are bros.
Right.
They're going around the bars, drinking, sleeping with women, and well, Dean is doing that stuff, and Crowley is like his handler, but also his bro. Like they develop a weird relationship. Crowley always betrays them, but they're like close in a weird way. And it's always Dean who's close with these people, like Castiel and Crowley. And Sam is the more um, empathetic one of them. So he kind of I don't know how to explain it. He kind of connects more on an emotional level than on a hey let's hang out level. I don't know how to social level, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Um. Let's see. This is season 10, and they're trying to remove the mark of Cain, but they can't. And it affects Dean negatively. Excuse me. It affects him negatively to the point where it's just getting people around him killed. Um,
If he's still a demon by then, does he care or
he's
no?
not. He's no longer a demon. He stops being. Something happens at the beginning of the season, and he's no longer a demon. Like he I think Sam manages to. Okay, hold on a sec.
I don't recall anyone ever actually curing being a demon. I never seen anything that was curable.
Okay, I don't remember the details, but Dean is no longer a demon, but he still has the mark of Cain, and it affects him negatively to the point where a lot of people around him are dying. Hunters and friends are dying, and they're searching for the book of the damned in order to find a way to get rid of the mark. It all culminates in the point. Well, there's a family called the Steins who are basically Frankenstein and his monster and a bunch of monsters of Frankenstein, and they kill one of their friends named Charlie, um, who is played by I forgot her name, but she's a redhead, and yeah, Charlie Alicia Day. I didn't even have to type it in. But yeah, she gets killed by the Steins, and Dean freaks out and like murders all of them.
Wait, why did they murder? Wait, why was she there?
She was a friend that they had saved earlier in the show, and she's not really a massive part of the show, but she's important somewhat. I would say she's less important than Bobby. Yeah, that's it. That's all I can say. She's less important than Bobby. Like she's an important character as far as the brothers' development. but otherwise she's not that important. But they are negatively affected when she dies because like they're devastated. And so whatever. Dean tries to keep hunting because that's all he can do, but the mark is affecting him even worse and people are still dying around him, and it gets to the point where Dean just looks for death, like the actual death, the old guy from season 5 or 6 or whatever, when they needed his rings.
Right.
And he summoned death and was like, yo, kill me. And death pretty much tells Dean that the mark of Cain is not really um it's not just a um a mark on you. It's not a curse on you, but a a prison for a primordial entity, like one that's
Another
as
one.
old as, yeah, a one that's as old as death and God, actually older than God, so to speak. And this evil is called the darkness.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and he explains that if the mark is removed from a person before being passed on to another person, it releases that entity. Um, he
I
said,
didn't have anything to say for that. That's just so convenient
yeah.
somehow for this.
I'm also just basically summing up this whole season in mostly the last few episodes because the plots of the seasons tend to ramp up towards the end. Um, but yeah, so season 10, whole hullabaloo, and Dean tries to kill himself, and Death is like, "Well, here's the deal. I'm not gonna kill you, but what I'll do is I'll transport you super far away so you can't hurt anybody, but you gotta kill your brother first." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's probably not gonna happen." And he says that he has to do this so Sam will not try to rescue Dean. So Dean tells Sam that, hey, well, he calls Sam because they've separated again. And he's like, hey, Sam, well, I think we're evil, and killing themselves is probably the best thing for the planet. And
Right.
yeah, and Sam's like, okay, maybe you're right, but you're a good person because you love your family and you do so much good for the world. I don't know
Hang
why I
on.
said it with a New York accent or something.
Wait, hang on. Dean gets like this because a person less important than Bobby does.
Mostly because of the Mark of Cain. The Mark of Cain is basically making him a savage, and he doesn't have any regard for the people around him. And this person who died, and I feel like I'm undervaluing her, but I consider her less important than Bobby. But something I could be wrong. Anyway, she dies because she's looking for the Book of the Damned, which would help them um find a way to remove this mark from him. And the book doesn't really tell you how to. The person has to remove the mark by being killed by another person, I believe, something like that. I don't remember. I don't care. But she dies trying to help them, and they feel responsible. Anyway, so Sam meets Dean, and Dean has Death's scythe. And as he's about to kill Sam, he turns around and pretty much impales. Well, he kills Death. I'm gonna say it like that. Hmm.
Why did he kill Death?
Because he didn't want to kill his brother.
Then why did he take the scythe?
In order to fool Death. So
But
here's
wait,
the
wait,
thing.
wait, wait. So if he
Death.
refused, then what would Death? Well, so it's a Death wanted. Wait, why would Death want Dean to do when he can just do it himself?
So here's the thing. Dean was desperate and wanted the mark removed from him. He wanted Death and was like, "Hey, kill me." Death was like, "Nah, son. There's nobody to pass that mark on to. So you gotta live until someone kills you with the first blade." And Dean's like, "Oh man." And Death is like, "However, I can like teleport you somewhere where you won't be able to harm anyone because the mark being on you prevents a primordial entity from literally destroying the universe." And he's like, "But it comes with a caveat. You have to kill your brother so he won't try to save you because it will likely release this creature." And Dean's like, "Okay." And instead of doing that, he kills Death. He gets Crowley's mother, who is a witch, who is still alive and not a demon, just a very old witch, to remove the mark from her arm, from Dean's shoulder, arm, whatever, in exchange for, I guess, being released from hell because she got teleported to the cage with Lucifer or some stupid crap. I don't remember. It was stupid.
How did she get in the cage?
That I don't remember. It was stupid. That's why I said it was stupid.
Wait, isn't Michael still there?
Yes, Michael and Lucifer are both still there.
And this lady.
Yes.
What is this cage? Oh my god! I keep track of this shit. It's like every other minute. It's like, oh, someone else is there. It's like, wait,
You're gonna laugh when I get to the last season. Anyway,
hold on.
well,
Wait, serious question. Serious question. Is the cage the friends we've made along the way?
I'm gonna leave.
I don't know. Okay, okay. So
No,
wait,
no,
wait,
it's
wait, wait. This is season.
this is the end of season 10.
Okay, and they just found this lady who was in hell, but now she's out.
Hmm.
So season 11 is all about her.
No,
What?
they she gets freedom or whatever. I don't remember. It's something stupid. Anyway, the mark is removed, and they get her out of the cage or some stupid crap like that. I don't remember if she was in the cage or not in the cage, but I specifically remember her being in the cage. But she removes the mark from Dean and manages to get away from them. And after the mark is gone from Dean, the darkness is released. And yeah, that's it. The darkness is released. So going into season 11, it's dealing with the after effects of the darkness coming back.
Right.
It turns out that the dark I believe this is the season where we find out that Chuck is actually God. Like it's not God inhabiting someone's body. It's just God. And they don't call him God anymore. There's no reason to. They call him Chuck. Anyway, so the darkness. She's born. like, and she's born as like a human child, like an infant, and has like a super accelerated growth because reasons. And it turns out that she's God's older sister.
Fuck off. So really?
I'm not joking. Like she's God's sister, and
Does she have a name?
um she didn't before. She was the darkness, but when she was born to humans, she was called Amara. So I guess I'll be calling her Amara. She also develops this weird affinity towards Dean, like I guess because it was through him she was released. But she's basically on a warpath trying to destroy God's creation because it turns out that God had locked her into this mark of Cain. Like God, you God asked Lucifer to like fight her. Like, how do I explain it? God and all of the archangels fought her, and they managed to seal her away into this mark. And through this mark, it was um the mark was put onto Lucifer. So when I said before that the only other person who had it was Lucifer, that was why. They had to seal her somehow, and he used Lucifer, who was apparently God's favorite angel.
And now he's a demon.
No, he's not a demon. He's still an angel. He's just he's just a dick, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a thing.
Wait, then
Um.
how did
Hmm?
so then how did Cain get it?
This, of course, all of this happening with the darkness and the sealing happened before humanity. So then humanity comes along, and Lucifer kind of tempts Cain into killing his brother and transfers the mark onto him somehow. Mm. Um, it gets weird because Amara is super mad because she was sealed away by her brother and his sons, and is now out to destroy all of his creations one by one. Towards the end of the season, they try to assemble a team to defeat her, consisting of God, Lucifer, and a bunch of other people. Um, Lucifer is flung somewhere far away, and Mara is literally beating the crap out of God and almost killing him. And I don't remember what happens, but they make up. Let's see. Okay, so Chuck is fatally wounded and by Amara, and as a result, the son is going to die. And if the son dies, the world dies.
Right. Okay.
So they feel that the only way to reverse this is to kill Amara along with Chuck. So the Winchesters like start getting a bunch of ghosts together to make a ghost bomb that can kill the darkness.
A ghost bomb
Yeah,
to kill the darkness and God.
and there's a Reaper, a new Reaper named Billy, who's super butthurt because they killed Death. She's helping them because kind of destroys her existence too if all of his creations die. So they get all of the souls, like the soul bomb, into Dean, and they send Dean to her, and like she's suddenly overcome with regret. Amara, I mean, she's like super like guilty. And then Dina's like, "Hey, you know, revenge really isn't worth it." So she reconciles with Chuck, and they ascend into heaven after healing Dean. And she's like, "Well, you've been so good to me. I'm going to give you the one thing that you've always wanted in your life." And let's see. Okay, so as this is going on, Sam is in the bunker. The bunker is their new headquarters, by the way. And
Right.
a random British lady shows up, and she's like, "Who?" And they're like, "Who are you?" And Castiel is there, and she banishes Castiel, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm from the British Men of Letters, which is basically the equivalent of the Hunters in the America. There was a U.S. chapter of the Men of Letters, but they all got massacred by a demon named Abaddon, who, in the grand scheme, isn't really that important to the show. But yeah. So she shows up and she holds a gun on Sam, and we don't know what happens with that at the end of this season because it's a cliffhanger. And then Dean is walking through the forest, and then he finds his mother, and that's what Amara decided to give to Dean for helping her. She resurrected his mother.
Okay.
End of season 11. Jesus.
Oh, guys, is Jesus in this
No,
somewhere?
it doesn't. It doesn't. I feel like I think that would have been too controversial for them to do, despite
But,
making Chuck God.
but
Yes, I know. I know.
God, God with his older sister. That's not controversial. But God's son, who we've all heard of, that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, it gets better. Season 12, Supernatural.
I was right to get out.
I
I was right.
mean,
I was right to get out of this.
I mean, you also miss Scooby Natural.
Does someone bang Daphne or Velma? Or try?
I
Wait, what am I saying? Dean, of course Dean would try.
Velma? No. He was into Daphne. Anyway,
So no one wants to bang Velma.
um
Wow.
no. Anyway, Lucifer's actually still alive. He manages to find another body because he has been using the same person. I don't know why he needed Sam's body so much when he was using the body of Mark Pellegrino for so long. Like, I thought that body was supposed to decompose real fast, but he'd been using that body for like 30 years. Anyway,
Because shut up. That's why.
yeah. Um. So it gets super weird where it gets to the point where what happens? Okay, Lucifer starts body hopping, And he also starts treating Crowley like a lapdog because he's taking over hell again. And
Okay.
he eventually manages to get into the body. He manages to possess the president of the United States, which was a thing.
Because sure.
And he has an affair with one of the president's staffers, who is played by I forgot her name. You watch Legends of Tomorrow, right?
Yes. That we
Okay,
already covered that.
so you've seen them all. So basically, um, Brandon Ruth's wife, the Adams girlfriend in the show, but his wife in real life.
That's life in real life. Damn, I didn't know that.
Yes,
Huh.
yeah,
But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah. So like Lucifer smashes her, and she's pregnant. All while this is going on, Sam and Dean are. Oh, by the way, resolution from the end of the last season. Um, he manages to subdue the British lady and finds out more about the British men of letters, who decide that they want to start colonizing the United States again. I'm joking. They don't really want to start colonizing, but they
What the
basically
fuck, man?
they basically put a lot of their agents in the US to control what hunters are doing, which seems to me like
Where
a
the fuck were you before?
yeah, it's like a huge overstep of boundaries because now they're trying to force them to do what they want, and they seem pretty sketchy anyway, which they turn out to be kind of sketchy. Like for real, they're sketchy.
It's like where were it's like okay, how many hunters are around? Like besides Sam and Dean, how many hunters are actually still around? And you show up now
A lot actually,
a lot.
only because these monsters basically make more hunters. And they kill somebody, and someone's left behind to see what happens, and they want revenge on monsters, which is basically how John Winchester got into the game. His wife died, and he decided he wanted to find out what hunting was about. And his wife never wanted to be a hunter in the first place, but she was. Speaking of Mary Winchester, she comes back and she's a fish out of temporal water. So she's like so confused. Remember, she died in 1980. It is now 2018 for her. Oh, no, 2016 for her. So she's freaking out. There's smartphones all over the place, and cell phones were these big old brick things that you held to your face, and people thought you would get cancer from them. And yeah, so eventually she kind of goes off and does her own thing. And one of the guys from the British Men of Letters finds her, and they start to have an affair. Um, the whole thing with the British Men of Letters basically culminates in them capturing monsters and like experimenting on them or something. They were doing something super shady, and I don't remember what it was, but they basically all got massacred in their US headquarters, and they pulled out of the US.
Massacred by what?
Vampires, I think. It was something super contrived. It was like this was a really bad plot line, and it was getting boring. Like,
Because there's this whole conspiracy of like monster hunters and they're shit at their jobs.
yeah. Anyway, so they the focus shifts to Kelly Klein, the woman that Lucifer impregnated,
Right?
and he was super happy about impregnating her because like he was going to use this child who would be one of the most powerful creatures ever, like even more powerful than Lucifer himself. So I guess wage war on heaven. Um,
For a second, I thought you'd say he's happy, like, oh my god, I'm gonna be a dad.
sort
Just
of, but also more like I'm gonna be a dad, and my kid's gonna destroy everything. So anyway,
little Junior taking on the family business.
pretty much that's what he wanted. So they hid her. Sam, Dean, Castiel hid her. Castiel spent most of the time with Kelly, and I guess they became pretty close friends. Um,
Okay.
it wasn't. I mean, as time went on, as she was getting closer to labor, well, while she was in labor, little portals would start opening up all around the area, and Lucifer managed to find her. But Sam, Dean, and also Mary Winchester, because they reunited, they managed to get to they got to the area in time while all of these portals were opening, and Mary Winchester like just went ham on Lucifer. She's like, "You not hurting my babies." Took out these magical brass knuckles and started decking Lucifer. She's like beating him down.
Magical brass knuckles.
Yeah, they're like Enochian brass knuckles, and she was like laying them fists. She's like, "I got these hands, and you gonna catch them." Pam, Pam, pow, and they both fell into one of those portals. Crowley was also there, and he managed to go into the portal. Lucifer killed Crowley. Crowley is dead forever now. They
Fuck.
tried to
Okay.
go, huh?
No, like, no, yeah, sure. Crow's gone.
Forever. Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember him showing up ever again. But yeah. So only Mary and Lucifer are in an alternate dimension now. But I'll get back to that later.
And let's find out what the dimension goes to.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Just so you know, while this woman is in labor, Castiel's there, trying to be there for her, and we know that this birth is going to be fatal for her. Like, there's no way she can actually give birth without dying, and she's okay with it. Um,
Okay.
she gives birth. The kid comes out as an adult, and he has super glowy orange eyes. And you think he's gonna be evil, but you don't really know. By the way, he can hear everything from the womb. He heard everything from the womb, so he thought Castiel was his dad, like from the beginning. Um,
Right.
yeah. End of season 12.
So she's dead, and Castle is now the adoptive father of this grown ass man.
Yeah,
Sure.
a grown child, a man child, if you will. Um, so this portal led to an alternate universe in which John Winchester died. Like, well, died before Sam and Dean were born. Sam and Dean never existed there. Mary Winchester, I believe, was also dead in that universe. But there's a Bobby there. Angels exist, demons exist, humans exist. Remember when I said that the cult could kill almost anything?
Yeah.
They now have guns that shoot bullets that can kill both angels and demons.
Okay.
Basically, they melted the blades that angels wield against each other and use the resulting metal to cast bullets. Anyway, Michael is still alive. There's another Lucifer there, and it's essentially Apocalypse World. Um, in this world, Michael managed to overpower Lucifer, but Michael is also super sinister.
Of course he is.
Yeah. So, and while this is going on in that world, Mary's trying to help people, and there's some other stuff that happens, and in the midst of this, we get Scooby Natural. It is an actual animated crossover with Scooby Doo.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah, with like all of the current voice actors for Scooby Doo. So that was cool. Um, let's see. Do, 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 do. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about Scooby Natural that much because it's just the animated episode of Supernatural. Um, the Winchesters and Jack, who is of course Lucifer's son, they manage to catch up to each other, and they kind of take him on. They take Jack under their wing. They teach him everything about being a human, so to speak, and he's a genuinely good person. He has amazing, awesome, terrifying powers, but he's in general a good thing. But if he uses his powers, he loses bits of his humanity because he is half human.
Right.
Yes. So, they managed to get to the apocalypse world, and after going to the apocalypse world, they managed to save a bunch of people from there. So they bring back everyone from apocalypse world, and Michael manages to sneak in. Um, the Winchesters get back to hunting. Bobby is now there, but not actually our Bobby, but Apocalypse Bobby.
Bobby too.
Yeah, you can call him that. He's way more he's a grizzled old man who's like mean and gruff and has been through the horrors of war. So you know, um, Lucifer tries to convince Jack to like leave everything behind and chill with him. And it turns out that Lucifer was killing people. And then Michael shows up and attacks Sam and Dean and Cassiel. Um, Mary and Bobby manage to get out. Sam prays to Jack for help. Oh, by the way, in order to get an angel to hear you, you have to pray to them. Like it's like a legit direct line to an angel. So if you pray to them, it's like talking to them into their head or something. Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, Jack shows up and beats the crap out of Michael. Um, Lucifer manages to steal Jack's angel magic. And with Lucifer being supercharged, Dean is like, "Hey, Michael, inhabit my body and fight Lucifer, but I get to be in control."
And Michael would agree to that.
Okay, so here's the thing: Dean fights Dean fights Lucifer with Michael's power and manages to actually kill him with the Archangel blade. And then everybody celebrates. And then Michael's like, haha, well, you had your control. I'm taking control now. Time to go. So he took full control of Dean and left. And that's the end of season 13. Holy crap. Two more seasons.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I too am tiring of talking about this.
You convinced me to never watch this fucking show.
You won't have to. If you want to see anything, just like watch the final three episodes.
I will pass on that.
But yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I only watched bits and pieces of season 14, and I was super uninterested in it. But they managed to get um Michael out of Dean. Jack starts. Jack gets his powers back, and Sam becomes the leader of like the network of hunters that Bobby used to have. Like, you know how Bobby would basically have all of those phones and stuff and answer them as like the head of the FBI or something like that. Basically,
Yeah.
Sam was doing that basically.
Okay.
Um, let's see, let's see. It all essentially culminates in Dean. No, not Dean.
Michael.
I don't know what's that kid's name. Jack. Jack getting his powers, but also burning through his humanity super quick, and he accidentally kills Mary Winchester.
Wait, he kills Mary?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
like Sam gets injured, Jack heals. Like Jack has no soul at this point, so his humanity is completely burnt out. He's
He's gone full apocalypse mode.
not apocalypse mode, but just he's basically a sociopath. He does what he wants to do, but like
How could he be a sociopath? He's younger than the age of 11.
no, well, chronologically he is, but he has like a full adult body. So anyway, he Sam gets messed up, and Jack heals him, and then Mary's like freaking out because he has no soul, and he flips out on her, and it turns out that he's basically killed her, like not on purpose. Like he calls her, he yells at her, and then the episode like ends on a cliffhanger. Like Basically, we think that something bad happened to her, and it turns out that he did kill her. Um, so he starts hallucinating his father,
Uh huh.
and Sam, Dean, and Castiel start looking for him, and he's being manipulated by some other character who is now the ruler of heaven, because Chuck apparently just does not give a crap. Like he's like, oh well, you reunited me with my sister. I ain't gonna do nothing now. But like, yeah. Then he suddenly appears and is like, hey, well, wait, no, no, wait, hold up. He's being manipulated. Um, and this person forces, well, not forces, he manipulates Jack into forcing humans to submit and removing any kind of mercy from angels in heaven.
Because he can just do that.
Yeah, he has like the power almost rivaling gods. So it gets kind of weird. Um, this person also they managed to find him. The person, well, her, the person who's manipulating Jack, but they also find Jack. But this person does the wrong thing by threatening to harm or destroy the souls of the Winchester parents, and Castiel kills her.
Wait, who is this person again?
Uh, Duma, an angel.
Duma, and just a random angel.
Yep. Listen,
Okay.
I told you I became very not interested, but I still had to figure out what was going on. Anyway, Jack pretty much puts everybody under a whammy that forces them to tell the truth all the time. And Chuck is like, okay, Castiel's praying to me, so I'm going to reverse everything that just happened. And Chuck is like, they gotta. He gives them this weird choice. Well, not weird. It's a messed up choice. He's like, well, Jack is a threat. Clearly, you've seen what he's done to everybody. You have to deal with this. He gives them a gun that can kill Jack, but it'll also kill the person who's shooting.
Why the
Sam,
hell would? Yeah, sure, sure, great, whatever.
yeah, that's the thing.
Wait, did
Sam
they ever try the cult?
on Jack,
Yeah.
dude. But I don't even remember what happened to the cult after like season 9. Like the cult isn't even important anymore. It does nothing. After it didn't work on Lucifer, it wasn't really important for anybody.
I could have sworn he melted it.
Maybe? I don't remember, but it never really mattered because they found weapons that actually did the job anyway. Angel blades, archangel blades, angel bullets. Jesus. Just, you know, not actually Jesus, but Jesus as in I'm exclaiming, this is crappy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so after Chuck gives them that gun that kills both the user and the target, Sam's like, Chuck sus. So Dean goes to Jack, but he's not actually he can't really kill him because they've gotten close to the point where he considers him family, even though he killed his mom accidentally. Um Jack accepts this I'm going to die fate, like, and Chuck appears and he eventually says that the whole time he's been manipulating events to go the way he wants them to go. And
Wait, Castiel manipulating
no,
events? Oh, Chuck.
Chuck comes down and is like, basically, this has been going the way I've wanted it to go. But Dean, you're supposed to kill him. And he's like mega mad. Like, like he's just super mad. And after he gets, after he has this little tantrum, he kills Jack like nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. So then Sam gets super butthurt about that, pulls out the double kill gun and shoots Chuck. Of course, Chuck, having said that it kills anything but also kills the user, lied. It can't kill him. And
Also,
I
God.
think,
So God can lie in this universe.
yeah, why couldn't he? He was literally manipulating all the events and pretending like he had nothing to do with them. So yeah, he's been lying.
So I don't know, but we're gonna be pissed with those Ten Commandments saying we could lie, which we didn't do a great job of that, but still, they were
Yeah,
there.
you know. Anyway,
Whatever. Sure.
after killing Jack and being shot by Sam, he decides that's it. I'm mad at y'all. I'm going to end the world. So after that, he unleashes every soul that's in hell. And Sam, Dean, and Castiel are surrounded by zombies.
Because of course.
Yep. While this is happening, Jack wakes up in the empty. The empty is just that, the empty, a place that exists.
The
It's
void.
yeah, it's that's literally it. It's the void. And he's greeted by that Reaper I mentioned earlier, Billy, who was super butthurt about Death being killed. Which, by
How
the
is
way,
she
the
there?
audacity of killing Death,
The audacity.
the audacity.
Meanwhile, people are still dying, so it's like, fuck, what does it matter?
Well, it turns out that Billy is actually the new Death, but we don't find that out until season 15.
Sure.
But anyway, Jack wakes up in the void where he's greeted by Billy, that Reaper, and the Shadow, which is like this amorphous, well, sort of amorphous blob. And like basically it's like an entity that only the only entity that actually lives in the void. And Billy's like, "Yo, Jack, we need to talk." And that's the end of the season. Jeez, we're finally at the in the last season.
For fuck's sake.
Yes. So I will try to abridge this as best I can.
Please. Please do.
So Ruby comes back.
Fuck! I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot you just. I forgot you told me that.
Um. Basically, since it was announced that this season would be the actual last season, they tried to get back a lot of the guest stars who appeared. Like in general, most of these characters were either dead or just off doing their own thing. So they managed to get them back in one way or the other. So Kevin, the the prophet,
Hmm.
Um, Charlie, that one girl who got killed by Frankenstein's. Um, Ruby. Um, and I guess they decided, hey, since this is the last season, let's get both of the lead characters' wives to fill in as somebody. So they had Ruby come back. They had Genevieve Padalecki come in as Ruby, and they had Danielle Ackles to come in as a character named Sister Joe.
Who the
And
hell? I should don't say that. I don't care. Sister Joe, cool. She's in here. Awesome.
yeah.
Continue.
Anyway, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk about them because I just wanted to let you know that they came back. Well, Ruby came back.
It's Endgame. They're just Endgaming the shit. Everybody's back.
Yes,
Or,
everybody's back. Even Meg comes back.
who's Meg again?
That's how
I
bad
don't,
this is. Remember
I
that one girl demon from like the first 4 or 5 seasons?
no, I don't. Wait. Tiny girl.
Yes, Meg Masters, the one girl who got pushed out the window and died, but was still possessed by a demon, so she was still alive. It doesn't matter.
Fuck. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Whatever. She's back. Sure.
Meg is there, but instead of being Meg, she's the shadow or the empty, the embodiment of the void.
And she picked this body for some reason. Great. Cool.
Yeah, they in reality they just wanted to get the actress back because since this was the last season, like I said, they were going hard with getting everybody back. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, they couldn't get every single person back because of
Diseases.
yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, and this season, Chuck is on a warpath. He's literally destroying universes with a snap. Destroying, destroying, destroying. And it turns out there are a ton of alternate universes.
Multiverse, if you will.
Yes. And God said, I don't care. They all gone one by one. Bang, 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 bang. Dead. And then I guess Billy's like, hey, let's come up with a plan to defeat God. And Billy's like, and Sam and Dean are like, oh, let's see what we can do.
Why doesn't death kill them? Kill him because death could kill God. So why not?
Yeah, well, there's a book that only death can read from or something. Oh, wait. I don't remember. It's stupid. All I know is that they come up with a plan to make Jack a bomb to blow up Chuck, but they don't want to sacrifice Jack. By the way, Jack is back. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Great.
it gets really bad to the point where it turns out that Billy was trying to betray them anyway and gain all of the power for herself and kill everybody who should have already been dead. Which, I mean, technically, that's fair. The Winchester should have been dead back in 2006. Both of them. But,
Right.
whatever. Um, so instead of actually using Jack as the bomb to kill Chuck, they managed to get him into the empty and destroy the shadow because she's got some she wants everybody dead because it's too much noise or something. She just want to live a life like Yoshikage Kira. She just want to live a quiet life. That's all. But she's dead. Doesn't matter. Don't care. Billy gets super butthurt. Tries to kill Dean. Nope. Dean accidentally, well, not accidentally. He slashes her with her own scythe. Again, I don't know what's up with these dudes, but they like slashing death with their own scythes. So, anyway, it's not a fatal hit, but it is because that one slash has opened up a wound that is slowly eating through her body and it will eventually kill her. So at this point, she has absolutely nothing to lose, and eventually people just start disappearing from the world, and they think it's Billy doing it because she's mad at them. It's not. It's actually Chuck, but they don't know that. So Dean and Castiel go to confront her and possibly kill her, so that they can so that they can like save all the people. Doesn't work. All those people gone. Billy, she corners Castiel and and Dean in a room, and Dean just like has a total mental breakdown. Like he
We
freaks.
couldn't we couldn't Castle just punch his way out of that room? Is he like a
Um,
he's
I
an angel?
I think he's lost most of his powers at this point. Like
Of
he's
course he
pretty
did.
much a human, and also he made a deal with the Empty, or he made a deal basically to bring Jack back to life, which is why Jack was alive again. Um, so that um when Castiel experiences like true happiness or something like that, then he can be taken by the Empty. So,
What?
yeah, it was weird. I didn't really
They ripped the
understand
shit off
it.
of Angel.
Huh?
They stole that from
No, no, no,
Angel.
no, 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 not like that. Yeah, yeah, not a moment of pure happiness, but like he actually experiences actual happiness because he's never been happy. Like he doesn't actively brood. He just doesn't understand things. So he, while Dean is freaking out, Castiel just basically launches into this speech of how Dean is probably one of the greatest people he's ever known, and how he's always been a great person, and the only person who doesn't realize it is Dean. And he ends all of it with, "I understand now. I love you, Dean." And then like the darkness, like not the darkness, the Empty manages to grab him, while Billy also breaks the door down and grabs her as well for some reason and pulls them both. Now this scene here is when the supernatural fandom collectively exploded. I'm not part of the fandom, by the way. I'm just a person. But like
It,
people
yeah.
have been shipping Dean and Castiel forever. There is a diehard
Oh,
group called well, they call the ship Destiel. And that declaration of love was all the proof they needed to know that Dean was absolutely, definitely, no take backsies, gay for Dean.
even though he's an angel from another plane of existence, and we as humans cannot possibly comprehend his sexual orientation. But sure, whatever. Great.
I mean, yeah, to further cement that point, um, the actor, um, I forgot his name, Misha something,
Wait,
Misha Collins.
wait, wait, wait. Yeah, Misha Collins. Yeah,
Yeah, Misha Collins basically said, yeah, it's that kind of love. So everybody's like, okay, that's all I need to know. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't care one way or the other.
the,
But
the,
yeah,
the show's over. Who cares anymore?
yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, a case can also be made for like a fraternal love or platonic love, but go off. Let them have what they have.
Because no, it would have been hilarious is if the whole declaration of love, but then Castle ended with dog. Like, I love you, dog. And then does all that shit. It's like, so they're
Yep.
so
So yeah,
so they're homies, I guess.
yeah,
that that'll confuse people, but sure, let's go with the other thing.
yep. Anyway, so that was that. The planet is completely barren, save not Castiel, Jack, Sam, and Dean. Sam and Jack managed to find Dean and notice that there's nobody left. By the way, Jack is still alive after exploding.
Wait,
So
hold on. Why didn't Chuck go after them first?
I'll tell you when I'm done. Well, I'll tell you when I get to that point.
Okay.
So they decide to come up with a plan to defeat Chuck, and their plan was to go to a random church and find Michael in Adam's body. So they're making a plan, and Michael's like, "Oh yeah, I did love my dad, but he did all of these terrible things, and I am totally going against him now." Wink, wink. And they go back to their bunker and formulate a plan. And then Lucifer shows up. I don't remember how he came back to life. I
It's
don't
like a
care.
giant fucking cockroach. Jesus.
Like he shows
It's
up
like
with another Reaper, then he
they
kills her.
killed him like 6 times.
Yeah, he kills the Reaper, and that Reaper becomes the new death. Some stuff happens, and Michael kills Lucifer again, probably for the last time. And then they go to confront Chuck, and it turns out, oh no, Michael was in league with Chuck the whole time. He totally didn't seem super sus to me. No,
Okay,
no,
get
no.
on with it. Get on with it. I'm sick of this shit. Honestly,
So Chuck is like, oh, you've outlived your usefulness, and kills Michael. Big surprise. Whatever.
useless for what? What is his plan?
So,
He's blowing up everything but the one universe that matters.
yeah. So Sam and Dean go to fight Chuck with their fists. And Chuck, instead of doing the one rational thing,
Anything, anything,
the one
anything.
rational thing that you would assume someone who can destroy whole planets would do, just starts laying the smackdown on them. He beats the living crap out of them, tells them to stay down. They're like, no, we're just going to keep on fighting. And he's like, that's what I love about you guys. You guys are awesome. I love y'all. Gonna have to kill you now. And then Jack comes in and touches him and somehow manages to absorb all of his power. Chuck is powerless. And I will explain.
No, no, don't.
I gotta.
I'm good. I'm good. Just get on
After
with
he
it.
exploded, he became a power battery. Anytime something happened around angels or anything, he was literally absorbing their powers. So while they kept while Sam and Dean went and got the crap kicked out of them by God himself, he was releasing a lot of God power. And he was juicing the kid up. Juicing him up enough for him to absorb the rest of his powers. So Chuck is
Okay,
powerless.
so several problems with this.
Yep.
First, so we're establishing that God created the angels, but also is himself an angel, even though he created everything else and should technically be way above being an angel, but sure, fine. So this kid blows up, gets brought back by the void, happens by coincidence to be the one thing that they need at this specific moment to be this to beat God himself, who technically isn't the thing that's exactly pointed out to be this kid's strength, because he's God, he's not an angel. That's not like
I'll say it like this. He got supercharged a bunch by everything that has died around him and also every living thing on the planet. That
So it's just good enough.
yeah. So
Sure. Great.
can't even
Cool.
call it a Deus Ex Machina because
No,
Chuck is
no,
there already.
no. I'm gonna go with that.
You can't.
No, because the son of Lucifer can just do this.
Well, technically, he's supposed to be at almost the same level as God, so to speak. So him actually having his powers as well as the powers of Lucifer and Michael, who have both died, and then siphoning off of Chuck's powers while he was beating down Dean and Sam. It was, a thing. But whatever. Anyway, so Chuck is like, okay, you won. Finish me. And they're like, nah, son. We're going to let you live the rest of your life and die forgotten. I'm like, okay. And they drive away while he's begging for them to kill him. Jack restores literally everything and is like, all right, I gotta go now. Bye, guys. And he's like, and they're like, wait, what? Chill with us. You can do whatever you want. He's like, well, I'll always be with you. When you feel a cool breeze, that's
No.
yeah. Basically, that's what he said.
You know what?
But yeah, that's it. That's it for him. But that's not the last episode.
Fuck.
Yes, the last episode. Peace is restored. The new normal is here. Sam and Dean, and also their dog Miracle. Oh, by the way, they had a dog named
I
Miracle.
don't give a shit.
Yeah, they have a dog. Anyway, they're enjoying life, but also they still have to hunt because the stuff is happening, and a bunch of vampires apparently abducted 2 children. So they go to investigate that, and they fight a bunch of vampires, and it turns out one of the vampires is a vampire that they knew from like season 1. I don't know why they brought her back of all people, but whatever. They fight some more. She gets decapitated. The other group of vampires mostly get decapitated. And a big one manages to impale Dean on a rebar sticking out of some wood. Sam kills that guy and is like, okay, Dean, we're done. Let's go. And he was like, nope, this is it for me, dude. And Sam's like, bro, what are you talking about? Come on, stop that. Let me get an ambulance or something. And he's like, nope, I'm gonna die now. This is definitely it for me. And I'm
He
not doing
sounds
it.
fine. He
I'm not
sound
doing it justice. I'm not joking. I'm not doing it justice. But it's a super emotional scene where Dean is actually
killed
dying.
by a random fucking vampire.
Yep. And he's basically like, we knew that this was how it was gonna end for me. So don't 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 let this get you down. You live the rest of your life and do whatever you want. It's okay.
So
And
God can beat down Dean with his bare hands, but this random fucking vampire can just kill Dean right here, and then it's like, oh, that like that vampire, like he was like real hot shit. I mean, seriously.
well, that vampire's dead also. So
Yeah, but this is yeah, but God couldn't kill Dean,
he didn't want to
but
kill him yet, though. His whole plan
he could
was to
have.
make them yeah,
He
he
was
could
beating him
have,
into the ground.
but his
So
plan was to make them suffer before ending their existence, not just killing
mm,
them, making it so that they never exist.
even though
Like
he
their
could do that
soul
at
is
any given time.
of course, but he wanted to be a sadist, so he screwed up by being the sadist. Anyway, Dean dies in Sam's arms, and Sam is a broken shell of a man until,
This is the fifth episode. He should be fine with this.
yeah, well, look, this was the very definitely final death of Dean Winchester.
Oh sure, until the movie happens.
There's probably not going to be a movie. Like it
And
ended.
then they announced it. They'd be like, "Oh snap, Sam,
No,
I'm back. Let's go gank some demons."
let,
That's
let me,
exactly what's gonna happen.
no, it's not. Because let me finish. So, of course, Dean, having died, went straight to heaven. And of course, the first thing he hears is him being called an idiot by Bobby. Bobby 1,
Right.
OG Bobby. Anyway, so he basically says, "Yo, bro, you in heaven now, so don't worry. Time passes by different here. So you'll see Sam in no time." He's like, and he's also like, "Your mom's over there, your dad lives with her." Well, live. Um, your boy did some good stuff up here. He's the new god or whatever. So everybody that you know who's died, they all here too, but you're not gonna see them because of the pandemic. So settle for me. And so he's like, get used to the place, go drive around, and the Impala shows up. I'm assuming it's like a ghost Impala or something, but as many times as that car's been wrecked, I'm sure it's literally the spirit of his car.
So it's like One Piece. Oh, the
Sure.
boat has a soul.
Yes, yes,
Whatever.
just like that.
Whatever. Sure. Sure.
Anyway,
Great.
Sam lives the rest of his life on Earth, and we get a montage of Dean driving the Impala on a road in heaven while Sam has little flashes of his life while like his son whom he named after Dean, and another of Sam helping his kid with homework, Sam with a really bad gray wig and looking at the actual Impala and sitting in it, and then Sam on his deathbed with his adult son who has one of those tattoos that prevents them from being possessed by demons.
Uh huh.
And the son is basically like, "It's okay, Dad, you can go now." Like something like that. It sounds super meh, but like he's like, "You can let go." So I'm like, all right, whatever. Sam dies. Dean stops driving and stands on a bridge looking over the horizon, and it's like a really beautiful view. And then he hears Sam call him, and he turns around and they embrace, and that's the end. And then everybody from the cast and crew that were there thanks everybody for watching for the past 15 years. And then we get a
Don't thank.
trailer.
Don't thank people for that.
And then we get a trailer of Jared Padalecki's new show on the CW.
Yeah, Walker, Texas Ranger. I heard.
Yeah. Speaking of, Chuck Norris needs to be in at least the first episode.
Sure, why not?
Anyway, yeah. So that was Supernatural in a very long nutshell. And that was 3 hours of my life that we'll all never get back. And yeah. So a lot of the people who watched Supernatural also watched a lot of Doctor Who. And the community is apparently very insane. They call themselves, I guess they call themselves Super Hulock because they also watch Sherlock along with Doctor Who and Supernatural. And there, a majority of them are shippers. They ship they ship really weird things like Sam and Dean together,
Uh huh.
and Castiel and Dean, and I don't know. But Supernatural was apparently a very successful series, which even spawned an anime incarnation, but that only lasted for a season. But apparently, Sam was actually voiced by Jared Padalecki, but Dean wasn't voiced by Jensen Ackles until like the last episode. So there was that. And I'm glad it's over.
So am I.
At least next week we can talk about Buffy or something, or next time.
Yeah, Buffy and Angel.
Yeah, together, because I'm not doing a separate episode for each. That's just
It would be unnecessary, and I don't know. It's like yeah, they had kind of the same idea, but they did more with their budget. Like you saw shit. You saw demons, sir.
yeah. But at the same time, Buffy was super dark, so I couldn't really see much of anything. And by dark, I mean literally dark. Like they had zero lighting on those sets, and it bothered me. And then I watched like the remastered versions of everything, and it's just that's just as bad. Because now I can see everything. I can literally see the boom mic in a corner. In one episode of Angel, I saw a dude holding a camera. So I'm like, what are they doing with these things? So yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that next time.
Okay, well, thank everybody for joining us for another quote exciting episode.
This was not exciting.
This was
Payback.
painful.
This was payback for the Doctor Who episode.
What do you mean payback?
This is
I was just trying.
payback
I
for
was
the
just trying
Doctor
to.
Who episode.
I was just trying to like make it interesting. This is
No. You were good.
there
You
were
were good.
there were whole seasons where nothing happened in Supernatural.
There were whole like, yo, Supernatural is basically plot at the very beginning, sprinkle teeny bits of plot in the middle, and then like super saturated with plot at the end of the seasons. It's basically like if Kingdom Hearts 3 had 15 seasons.
Oh, hell no.
And you know I'm right, because that's exactly what Kingdom Hearts 3 did.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so I can also say I have no questions. I'm good.
Good, because I don't want to answer any questions. I've had enough of Supernatural.
But actually, wait. Okay, one question
All right.
with Sam and Dean.
Okay.
Who's pitching and who's catching?
Bro,
I'm just saying you're on the fandom. Give the people quotes people what they want.
whoever wants to.
Lame. Anyway, thank you all for joining, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.